Every gilded cage is built with walls of comfort. The only question is what you're paying for them.
All right, let's dive in. Today we're going to take a trip into the invisible architecture of our digital world. We're going to pull back the curtain on these forces that are quietly and constantly shaping what you see, what you think, and maybe even who you are.
I want you to just pause and really think about that for a second. Have you ever had that kind of creepy feeling? You know, when an ad pops up for something you were just thinking about? Or when your streaming service suggests a movie that feels like it was plucked right out of your brain? That's not a coincidence. Not at all. It's by design.
And that feeling of being perfectly understood by a brand or a platform, it's not a connection, right? It's the end product of a massive, silent operation. Just like this quote says, you aren't chosen, you were studied, you were profiled, and you were predicted.
Every single thing you do online, every article you read, every video you watch, how long your mouse hovers over a picture, all of it is being harvested. This data, this behavioral surplus, as it's been called, is the free raw material, the oil, for a multi-trillion-dollar industry built not just to forecast your behavior, but to steer it.
So, okay, how does this whole thing actually work? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of this architecture of control.
The name for this economic model? It's called Surveillance Capitalism. But listen, the real product being sold here, it's not just targeted ads. It's something way more valuable. It's certainty. It's the ability to sell a guarantee about what you're going to do, what you're going to buy, and what you're going to believe tomorrow.
It works in basically 3 steps, right? First, your personal experience is just taken, claimed as free data. Second, these incredibly powerful AI systems chew through that mountain of data to create predictions about you, what you'll do next. And third, those predictions are sold to the highest bidder, who then uses that inside knowledge to nudge your behavior in whatever direction benefits them. It's a perfect feedback loop of surveillance and influence.
And here's the kicker. The whole system works best when you don't even notice it. It's designed to be totally invisible, which makes it so much harder to see, let alone resist. You feel like you're making a free choice, but more often than not, you're just following a very sophisticated script that an algorithm wrote just for you.
Now, the tech, the AI, the algorithms, all of that feels super new, right? But the impulse, the desire to control populations, that is as old as time. The strategies we're seeing in our digital world are really just echoes of much older systems of power.
Take something like debt peonage in the post-slavery American South. It used the inescapable trap of debt to bind people to the land, economically. Well, today, we're seeing this weird echo of that. Our deep, deep dependency on digital platforms for our jobs, our social lives, it creates its own kind of entrapment, limiting our choices in a way that feels eerily familiar.
There was this philosopher, Michel Foucault, who had a really powerful idea for this. He called them disciplinary institutions. Now, these aren't just about punishment. They're systems designed to shape us from the inside out, to train us, to police our own behavior, to fit the needs of a bigger system, whether that's a factory or a government.
Just think about your own school days for a second. The bells, the schedules, the grades. Sociologists call this the hidden curriculum, because beyond reading and writing, it was teaching us other things. How to be on time, how to follow rules, how to accept authority. All things designed to prepare us for the workplace.
And you can see where this is going, right? Today, social media platforms are the new disciplinary institutions. They teach us to accept the authority of the algorithm. They enforce conformity through likes and shares. And they train us in the exact behaviors, the constant checking, the performative outrage, that are most profitable for the system.
And this is where we get to the absolute heart of the matter. When a system gets this good at shaping our behavior, what happens when it also gets the power to define what is true? This is where a new, and I think really profound, kind of injustice starts to take shape.
Look, these AI systems aren't just serving you cat videos anymore. They've become the new gatekeepers of information, of reality. By filtering and ranking everything we see, the people who control these algorithms have gained this unprecedented power over what we talk about, what we think, and what we believe. They are, for all intents and purposes, becoming the arbiters of truth.
And this leads us to a really crucial concept, epistemic injustice. This isn't just about being told you're wrong, it's about a wrong being done to you as a knower. It's when your voice is silenced, your perspective is dismissed as invalid, or your entire community's way of making sense of the world is just erased. It's an injustice at the level of knowledge itself.
To really understand how serious this is, how deep this can cut, consider this. The most brutal systems of oppression in history knew that physical chains weren't enough. The ultimate goal, as scholars of white supremacy have pointed out, was psychological, to crush a people's sense of their own worth so completely that they couldn't even see their own power.
Okay, so bring that thought back to today. Our global AI systems are being built on data that is, well, it's overwhelmingly Western, it's mostly English-speaking, and it reflects a very specific worldview. So we have to ask the question, if the goal of historical oppression was to erase a people's soul, what's happening when our new digital arbiters of truth inadvertently erase entire ways of knowing, entire cultures, entire realities, simply because they weren't in the training data? That is the new epistemic injustice.
Okay, I know, this all sounds huge, maybe even a little scary. But understanding how this architecture of control is built is the absolute first step toward taking back control. So where do we start? Well, the first act of resistance isn't out there, it's in here.
You know, the most effective prison is always the one you don't know you're in, the one you build yourself. The system conditions us so well that we start doing its work for it. We internalize the algorithm's voice, the craving for validation, the fear of missing out. The jailer can leave, because we're now locking the door ourselves. So, reclaiming your freedom, it starts right here, between your ears. It starts with something called attention sovereignty. In an economy literally designed to hijack your focus for profit, the simple act of choosing for yourself what you pay attention to, well, that becomes a radical act. It's about deciding to be the director of your own mind, not just a passive audience for a feed that someone else curated.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought, this one question. This entire system we've talked about, it's all built on a single bet, that you are predictable, that what you did yesterday is the best sign of what you'll do tomorrow. But what if it's not? In a world that has studied you, profiled you, and predicted you, maybe the most human, the most rebellious thing you can possibly do is choose to be a surprise.